Man, I just want to. Big decision came down this week from where our kids go to school here. This Christian from head coach Demonte Bynum. Just want to shout him out. Thank him this year for the opportunity to coach alongside him. He just took the head position at Martin Luther, so I want to say congrats to him, and just I really wish nothing but the best for him at Martin Luther, and I hope he turns up over there and really is able to just spread his wings in ways he felt maybe not as possible in the heritage space. So, that's all I got.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the Spartans, man. We used to wax y'all back in high school, man. But it's all
That's wild.
Two, three.
Man, we are rolling today, man. This is a special one because it's the first time I shot outside with the crib. Outside with my outside hoop, man. But I got the homie Demonte Bynum, man, in the building, man. Appreciate you for pulling up.
No doubt.
Big news with my guy, man. Just accepted the job at Greendale Martin Luther. I'm proud of you, dog.
Appreciate you, bro.
So what I want to do is he used to play the game too. And we all done played outside before. I feel like we all got our start outside. So it only makes sense to get his story from the beginning, man, from outside, man. So I'm going to pass him the rock and we're going to get into it, man. I want to get his story too, man. So the first shot is on you, my guy.
Oh, man.
First shot. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Hey, you put me on the spot.
First shot on you, my guy. So with these interviews, boss, we start from the beginning, bro. So give us the rundown. Where you from, bro?
From here. I'm from Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Man, I grew up on the east side and then moved on to Sherman.
Okay.
I went to Edison.
Oh, nice,
school. nice. And then, I went everywhere for elementary, but then I went to Custer for a year, and then I moved with my pops after my parents split.
Okay. And, was Mitchell at Custer when you got
I think he came the year after.
Okay.
Came the year after.
Okay.
And then we started winning.
Yeah.
They started winning right after that.
Yeah.
They started winning right after that.
So in terms of siblings, bro, was you the only child? Or
I'm the oldest of 7.
Woo! So you the OG, man. So what was it like, bro, being the oldest of 7?
Man, leadership, man.
Yeah.
So being a coach and being a leader and all that stuff started early. So
okay.
I mean, I only got one sister.
Okay.
So yeah, man, just being at home watching the kids and doing all them duties and all that stuff, man. I started early.
All right, so you was the third parent then, basically.
Already, bro. So yeah, man, that's pretty much what my childhood was like. And so, I mean, some of them qualities that it take to kind of be a leader, run a company, run a team, all that kind of stuff, man. All started.
Okay. Makes sense.
From there. So
makes sense. Now, in terms of the game, bro, when did you come across the game? Was you just hooping, or was it like other stuff you was doing too?
Shoot, man. Yeah, I was just really hooping. I mean, I was kind of running around with the wrong crowd when I was here. Yeah. And, that's why it was kind of smooth that I actually moved with my pops at the right time. I wasn't happy about it, but it kind of changed my life, to be honest. A lot of guys I was running with and doing the things. Well, I was hooping, but I also didn't have the greatest influences, and I lost a lot of my friends here in the streets because after I moved away. So man, I'm actually lucky, blessed to have had that happen. You know
for sure. So you got to talk about like when you make the transition and you move, bro. What was it like living in Milwaukee and in Rockford, right? Yeah. And then going to Rockford, bro.
Well, yeah, Rockford got a little hood to it too. Yeah. But when I got there, I went to a school that it was a Christian high school.
Okay.
And it had a lot of diversity. A lot of Caucasians, a lot of white folks in there.
Was that the first time you went to school with
First time. I had no white students at Custer. I think it was one white person, one Puerto Rican.
Okay.
I mean, the teachers probably was a couple white teachers. Yeah. But, so anytime I saw white folks was police cars and teachers, you know what I mean? So when I got there, it kind of taught me how to kind of mix and mingle a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and so, yeah, I learned a lot going there, but I was there for a summer playing AAU, and then got the opportunity to play there, and then, story kind of started from there, and then I had a pretty good high school career, all conference.
Nice.
2 years.
Hold on, bro. We're going to have to run through that, man. So, did you play a year at Custer?
I did. So Custer had that was when, like, I'm trying to think who was there. You know, Eddie Moore was there.
Okay.
I think he was a senior.
Was Draylon wasn't there?
No, I think he came in next year.
Okay.
McAfee was there.
Okay.
He was there. I think he was like a sophomore, and then they took off like after I moved. But I was a freshman. George was there. George Withers was there.
Okay.
But our JV team was loaded.
Oh, they was on JV your freshman year?
Yeah. But the JV was like, it was a cheating JV team, bro. Like it was a cheating JV team, and then they brought us up at the end of the year. Like,
but that's the thing with the city back in them days, bro. JV was different in the city conference, bro.
Listen, man.
Yeah.
Vincent JV back then. Vincent JV back then would beat all these varsity teams.
Yeah.
No lie.
Yeah.
I'm not even lying to you. I mean, they used to have, man, the best home court advantage I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's pretty much. I mean, I did that, and then the next year, like I said, when I moved there, I was already ready to go once I moved to Rockford, and then I took over, like right away.
Did they have you playing the 1 or the 2 at Custer?
I was the 1.
Okay.
I could always shoot, so I could play combo, but I was a 1.
Let me ask you, bro, just in terms of like your shooting ability and your scoring ability, if you played in this generation, the way you could shoot the ball now, how would it have been?
I was doing all this stuff way early.
Yeah.
So if
you ahead of your time.
Way ahead of my time. If you look at any of my shooting records or any of that stuff, or even I haven't showed you any game film. Yeah. I'm shooting 2 or 3 feet behind the line.
Oh, early.
I'm my college's all-time leading 3-point made. I was like 7th in the country in 3-point made, like all that. So I was pulling fast break threes and doing all that way before. Like this, I saw it fit perfect.
Yeah. Let me ask you, bro. Was you better shooting off the dribble, or you like to come off a screen or off a flare, something?
It didn't matter, bro.
It didn't matter.
It did not matter. That's no gas. Anybody know me? I do not talk about myself a whole lot.
Yeah.
But I'm one of the better shooters around.
Okay. Still, talk your stuff, man. So sophomore year, you get there, and I'm assuming you got put on varsity right away.
Yeah. Okay. I was all conference right away. I worked all summer. I knew it was gonna be my show because the point guard was there before. He was in the Slam magazine.
Okay. Yeah.
He was real good.
Yeah.
He ended up going to play. I think he went to Logan first, and then he ended up playing D2. But he from that small town, he made Slam magazine. He was 25 points a game, something like that.
That's tough.
Replacing him, I already knew what the expectation was going to be. So I was ready off the rip.
That's
you know
what's
what
up,
I mean.
though.
So. But then, I played with 2 6'7".
Okay. All right, nice. So you had some size.
Yeah. My junior year, we was a game from upstate. And we lost in like overtime. Game winner.
Okay.
And it was. I had a good high school career, man.
Yeah. Okay. So you do your thing. So junior year, I'm guessing was the same thing for you, bored out.
Yeah, junior year was the same. That was the year that we was the best.
Oh yeah.
That was the year we almost went upstate.
Okay.
And then. My senior year was the year after one of the guys left, and then halfway through, and a lot of people don't know, I don't go back into it, but I hit some adversity that year because I didn't get to play the second semester over, a class and a dispute about a paper that went to my dad and went to the school.
Yeah.
And back then, the times were a little different. So I went from, a really, heralded player to things got real cloudy for me. That's a part of the story that a lot of people don't never.
Yeah.
I mean, people close like my dad and people, who from Rockford probably remember that.
Yeah.
That was a real dark time. So I was a much higher, like recruit.
I was gonna add, did it mess up?
It messed up everything. I didn't even. I ain't gonna say I didn't want to play basketball, but I think I found out a lot about like who was your true friends.
Yeah. Who in your
who
corner
really care about you.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it was happening to me.
Yeah.
But, when I think about it now as I grew up, I'm like, I should have never left it to that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I feel so passionately about, the things I do now with kids. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, man, that's unfortunate that happened. But at that time, I'm guessing you still got some options for school. Oh, how did Clark come around, man?
So I had options. Yeah, I definitely had options for school. But in those times, like whenever you didn't, when you didn't go to a 4-year, they just say the boy ain't had a grade.
Yeah.
So now it's kind of like everybody's like happy. They're like, man, go to JUCO. That's the route.
Yeah.
Then I was like a negative. Yeah. So every JUCO that reached out or that I could have went to, I kind of stayed away from.
Yeah, because there's a lot of JUCOs, good JUCOs in Illinois too.
Man, it's a whole bunch, man.
Yeah.
It's a whole bunch. So I stayed away from that route.
Yeah.
And then I started going back into some of the schools that had reached out that I kind of ignored.
Yeah.
And one of the schools that was reaching out was Loris.
Okay,
reaching out, right?
Yeah.
And that was like a smaller school.
Yeah.
And Platteville was reaching out. But then I had realized that Clark had sent me some stuff.
Yeah.
And I had never responded.
Yeah.
So I hit the coach up.
Yeah.
And was like, hey, haven't heard from y'all in a while, blah, blah, blah. He was in such a good mood, bro. Like he was like ecstatic to hear from me. He was like, man, this is one of the best days.
Made his day.
Yeah, he was like, this is one of the best days. And so that's how it kind of worked out. I went on a visit, man, and he took care of me, man. He was a really good coach. And then like he was an older white coach.
Yeah.
But he really understood he really understand the culture. You know what I mean? So
what was the style of play at that time, bro, that they was what was they running and stuff?
So at that time he was kind of conservative. They weren't scoring a lot of points. It wasn't until I got there, honestly, because that we started playing faster.
Yeah, they gotta let you go, man.
Yeah, I started playing a little faster. Because we had 2 transfers from Norfolk State.
Okay,
came there, and they were both good brothers. They both was really good. And one averaged over 20, the other one averaged like 18. So, I mean, them 2 were scoring all the points.
Yeah.
Before I pretty much got there. And then my freshman year, I broke all these records. But if I would have played, my freshman year, I kind of gave up just to kind of play with them because I had to, I had to kind of like sit half the semester because I transferred out.
Oh.
So my freshman year, I got there. Well, first, Clark was great. I got there.
Yeah.
And I got on campus, and I'm like, man, like, I'm a freshman, but like everything is just not easy, but coming a little too easy for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm already in my mind like I'm really D1.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I get it.
I'm really D1, but this is my circumstance. This is my mind. This is my mind. So I'm in there like, how can I get there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So first semester I transfer out. I tell my coach I'm honest with him. You know what I mean? And then I try to go to Kishwaukee.
Oh yeah. Did you go? Yeah.
Yep, Kishwaukee. Coach says, yeah, man, come in. It's close to Rockford and DeKalb.
Yeah.
I get out there for the first couple of weeks. In practice cooking, but it's like 5 other guys just like me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a bunch of guys out there that he promised, like you know what I mean? Like they would go. Yeah. So I'm looking around. I'm like, man, they got shoes, and I'm like, I ain't got no shoes. Like you know what I mean? But I'm cooking.
Yeah.
But I ended up calling my coach back, and I ended up, I couldn't just hop back in school. I just dipped on Kish. I went back to Clark. I told my coach, I'm about to get back in school, and I'll be back.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I came back second semester. I just worked.
Yeah.
And then I knew I had to sit out because I left.
Could you still practice with them when you?
I could practice, yeah. Okay. So now I done looked at a whole year, pretty much without playing.
Yeah. That's tough.
You get what I'm saying? Oh man, yes, man. So
Yeah.
I come back to school. I worked my way back into school.
Yeah.
My grades is all the way up. I just hit the first semester, and I could have just took the year off again, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I played with that group that I was talking about.
Okay.
So I came off the bench my freshman year, and I averaged almost 10 a game.
That's solid.
And my role was different. You know what I mean? Because I was supposed to be the starting point guard, but I came halfway through the year.
Yeah,
so,
that's tough.
And I only played half the game. So.
Yeah.
So I mean, we won 20 games that year.
Oh, did y'all make the tournament?
Nope. We lost to Benedictine. I think we got put out by Benedictine.
Okay.
I don't know if you know Benedictine.
Yeah.
We lost to Benedictine, and then I think the next year. So after that, the next year, these guys they out.
Yeah.
So everybody knows
it's your shit.
It's my time. It's about to be my time. But again, I'm like, it's too easy. So I transfer out again.
Oh,
So I got my game film. Like, man,
what's your coach name? What was your coach?
John Davison.
Shout out to John Davison.
John Davison, man. Hey,
shout out to John Davison,
hey, man. So I tell him, I say, Coach, I want this opportunity, man. Like financially, everything. Like, like I don't want no, student loans. I mean, granted, you give me money, but like, I don't want no extra on me and none of that.
Yeah.
He like, I understand.
Yeah.
So one of my good friends played at Sauk Valley.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I go to their open runs, cook. He signed. We signed. Letter intent. Everything.
Oh, that's what's up. Yeah.
Everything good. He like, man, I got our point guard.
Yeah.
Go to their jamborees. I'm killing. Getting a lot of D1 interest. Everything's going perfect. This is gonna be my sophomore year, and then the coach called me, like August. Let's just say August 3rd.
Yeah.
He like, Coach. I mean, he like Demonte. I'm looking at your transcript, man. You only got 21 credits. You need 24 credits to be a sophomore. I'm like, okay. He like, so ain't no class you can take right now? I'm like, nah, ain't no class. I mean, it's kind of late.
Yeah.
So I'm school about to start. He said, well, listen, I'm gonna let you keep your scholarship.
Yeah.
That's fine. He's like, but you're not gonna be eligible to play until second semester. Now, mind you, I just did all that.
Yeah.
I just finally came back. And I'm like, I'm geeked to go to Sauk Valley. I got my housing good. School is free. I even got money coming back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I tell him I'm gonna think about it, but deep down I knew I didn't want to sit again. You know what I mean? I was pretty much traumatized because again, in junior college, bro, you could end up, you come back second semester, I'll be right back in the same position I was playing off the bench again, knowing that I'm supposed to be a starter. So what I do, I call my coach again. I say, Coach, I'm coming back. He hyped again. So
man, shout out to Coach.
Man. Man.
Did you ever feel like, damn, I gotta do this again? Did you feel that at all?
I did for sure.
Yeah.
But by that time, I had understood that I was never supposed to leave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at that point, I had settled in on that and said, you know what? If I'm gonna have to play here, then I'm about to be the best player to ever play here.
Let me ask you, bro. What did your teammates think? Like, man, this dude doing this again. Did they stick with you, or was it a little
none of them was weird because
that's what's up.
None of them was weird because, man, you got to mind you, the first year, you know what I mean? I was like 6 man, and then the next year, ain't nobody. I'm next up, but ain't nobody seen me do it yet.
Yeah.
I know it.
Yeah.
My coach know it, but he still don't quite know what's about to happen. You know what I mean? The whole time I'm knowing.
Yeah.
But. So you get me? So they like whatever, but they not like whatever. It wasn't until, my sophomore year came and we won the conference that year.
Okay.
Where I took off. Okay. You know what I mean? And then averaged like 18 a game.
Yeah.
And so, after that it was all she wrote. I kind of after that because I knew I couldn't transfer. It wasn't like it is now where you could just transfer and all that. I've been going crazy. Shoot, in my mind, I was going to the league. I just had to get there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So at what point, because you said you was at 18 a game, what point did you be like, okay, I'm here. I ain't doing nothing else.
That was after he told me I have enough credits. I said, it's a wrap, bro.
Let me quit playing, man.
Hey, man, I said, I guess if I'm going to be here, I guess I'm going to have to go to the league from small school.
Yeah.
So I just started working, to be honest with you.
Who was your rival at Clark, bro?
Aurora.
Okay, yeah.
At that time, Aurora was.
Yeah.
Aurora was, and I'll say Loris because it's right in town.
Yeah.
My coach coached at University of Dubuque for a long time.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Dubuque.
Yeah, University of Dubuque for a long time. So he had ties there too. So,
Dubuque be cracking too.
No, it do. It's straight. No, Dubuque's straight. People make fun of it.
I'm gonna just say that and leave it at that.
Yeah.
Cracking, bro.
Yeah, Dubuque straight.
Yeah.
So I went back there. Then that year we won the conference. I'm just being me. We going crazy.
Doing your thing.
Scoring, but also like, man, passing the ball too, man. I also got the assist records.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think a kid just broke it. Yeah. I don't know if not the single. I think he broke the single season. I don't know if he broke the all time, but
yeah. Okay.
But I mean. By the time I was done, I had broke 7 school records.
Oh, that's what's up, man.
It might have been more than that, to be honest with you. But I had a plaque with all of them on there.
Yeah.
I was actually originally they retired my jersey. I was the first retired jersey. I was the first All-American for any sport.
Oh, that's what's up.
Any sport at the school.
Yeah.
Any sport. So that's pretty dope. So
What was your stat line senior year?
20. It was 22 a game in conference.
Oh, you was clowning it.
Yeah, 19 a game. Yeah, but see, that year I played half the year with a strained PCL, and I had, if you see some of the clips, you're gonna see like a brace. On, it was on the left knee, but a brace on it with like a little thing under it.
Yeah.
But I had learned how to kind of like play with it.
Yeah.
I still have my speed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know, I paid for it after the season because you know I wasn't using the that muscle. But yeah, man, I was. It's so hard because I don't talk about myself a lot, but I just listen to the stuff that my opponents used to say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm a pretty humble dude by nature.
Yeah.
So it's
for sure.
Not
I
easy.
get that.
But my the things I was able to accomplish kind of speak for themselves.
Yeah, that's what's up,
be
man.
honest with you.
So you have an excellent career at Clark, man. Bounced around a little bit, but then locked in and then just did your thing. Yeah. So when you done, bro, was it like overseas in the picture, the league in the picture, semi-pro? Was there something going on like that?
So just crazy. So all of my senior year, this all happened. I ended up scoring, I think 1,740 points in college. I ended up getting Player of the Year in the conference, and that was our first year in the conference. And I was All-American that year too. You know what I mean? And then I got like male student athlete of the year. So in my mind,
you getting everything.
So in my mind, I'm like, I'm about to hit these combines up. And do what I do. Now, mind you, I got this knee injury that the agent is telling me, don't put that down if you think, because that's gonna stay on there forever.
Did you need surgery at all, or it was like?
No, it was just you need to strengthen the quad and then you needed to rest it.
Okay.
You know, it was. I mean, it got really painful afterwards.
Yeah.
And I literally couldn't really play like I wanted to for about 8 months.
Was you taking shot? Was it called a cortisone? Did you do any of that?
And that was a bunch of stem treatment because our assistant coach was also he was the head of the physical therapy and that's the training department. That's a great thing to have, man. So he used to just do whatever it took to get me in the game, like to get me playing, you know. And I was doing all the stuff to get it flowing, but I had got to the point where I knew how to play with it without it hurting. But after the season, when I stopped wearing that brace, it was so painful, man. So I guess I was waiting out without having to tell them. So I had a lot of interest and offers, but then I had to also realize I figured out how much money you don't make at first too.
That's the reality.
A lot of them offers was like $3,200. Transportation and food included.
Peanuts.
Yeah. I mean, it seemed like, especially, because you expecting way more than. It was
couple
like
$100,000 or something like that.
You got an agent telling you, hey, okay, I got you in the the times of D League. The D League tryout. He telling me they need 2 spots. There's gonna be 100 people there. So it didn't sound too good, and I'm like, I'm just going to get healthy. So I coached right after.
Okay.
Just to stay around the game. And I trained, and then when you look up, then you look up and like a year passed. Then at the time it wasn't my wife, but my fiance got pregnant with my son.
So was that at the time where you got to be like, man, I love playing, but
I didn't quite say that yet. But the reality,
it was starting
because I was such an accomplished player, it wasn't that I was okay with it. I was just kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm gonna make this money here. I'm not finna kind of leave her with my son right now. And then time just went, man. And then I remember thinking I was gonna do it around 24, 25, and I'm recommitting and doing all that.
Now at this time, bro, was you still in Iowa or did you come back to Milwaukee?
I was in Iowa, but I came back to Milwaukee for a year.
Okay.
You know what I mean? She was pregnant with my son, so that was 20. He was born in 2010, so it was 2009, 2010. So so I was like, at this point, I'm just thinking about him. You know what I mean? I'm like, I can't leave her with a little child. She's not from from this area. She's from Rhode Island. So I'm like, she don't know what's going on around here. So
that's admirable, bro.
That's admirable. You look up, and then you just the coldest dude in the gym wherever you go. You know what I'm saying? For a while.
Open gym legend.
You at the park like, oh, what's up with dude? You know what I mean? And that's cool for a while, and then like shortly after, I moved to Rhode Island, and then I was just balling out there. You know, jumping in like the most competitive leagues as possible. You know what I mean? Just doing a little bit of that. You have some ABA stuff. Some little semi-pro stuff that you do. But yeah, and then, you know, that's really how I go. But I started coaching, you know, in training. You know what I mean? To stay close to the game. 'Cause I knew what it kind of took for me to get there. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start just, you know what I mean, working with these kids. So that's how I kind of reconnected. But I always knew I would be a coach, though.
Okay, so at this point, I think I got the story up to this point. We got his ball game, we got his basketball game, man. Is on the court, just his experience playing the game. I need you to sum up your career, bro. What would you say? What were some words you would give on just your playing career, bro? Going from Custer, then making your way down to Rockford, then going to Clark, then Kishwaukee.
Bro, listen.
Then back down. So how would you sum it up, bro?
Listen. I just always had that, like, I just had a different mentality. Like, any means necessary. Like I said, I started playing on crates in the alley. You know what I mean? I started playing in crates in the alley where it was survival and in a 15-game hustle. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I was a shooter on them. You know what I mean? Before,
that's how I learned how to shoot in the hustle, bro.
Yeah, man. And doing all the other little things, too. Rebounding. Going, you know what I mean? Going up through contact with 10 guys on you. You know what I mean? You know, you get knocked out if you ain't got 6 points. You know what I mean? So,
kids know about that now.
Yeah, they know nothing about that. That's real survival. Little man coming behind you and poking the ball out. Yeah, man. So, I mean, I started from there, just learning how to be a scrapper. And then, man, my dad he was pretty hard on me as a, you know, he think he a legendary hooper, so you know what I mean. So he stayed, you know, on me. So I honestly, just the grit of the game. Milwaukee really put that grit behind my game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Everything was the park. Everything was Stark. Everything was McGovern. You know what I mean? Like, we going to McGovern. Like, you know, I'm finna go hoop outside. I'm finna go hoop at Hawthorne. Like, you know, that was what it was, and these kids don't really got that now.
I was gonna ask you, what do you think that's missing from the game now, bro?
It's so hard because my son missing it. You know what I mean? Like, he ain't. You know, I'll be outside sun up to sundown. Like, just at the court. Just drinking with a big jug of water or whatever. You know what I mean? Playing with the older guys, getting yelled at, learning how to play. You know what I mean? So by the time I got into the real gym with kids my age, I wasn't worried about no strength and none of that crazy.
Bro.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm trying to warm up on your hoop. I know. I ain't gonna lie. It took me a little minute. I know somebody gonna watch it and be like, man, they talking about you the best shooter in Milwaukee. Yeah, right. Who ain't making nothing on there.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Normally when people come over here and shoot, they be struggling, bro.
Hey, you know, it is a little. Well, you know, it's like a little.
It's like
this side, it's a little tilt.
Once you get used to it.
Yeah, when you see it, you get used to it. I'm gonna stay shooting on that side. I can't watch the misses.
If you had a few words before we, you know what I'm saying, we get to the second part, a few words to sum up your career, bro, what would you say?
Honestly, I should be inspiring, especially to the small guards.
Oh yeah,
especially the small guards. Like, at one point, man, I was probably the best small school, you know, small guard in the country. Honestly, and that's what people would say. But it wasn't just because of scoring, bro. It was just like the passion for the game, playing on both ends, hustling, leading your team. Like, you knew when I played that you had to fight. Like, you know what I mean? You had to fight, and that, you know, that I can make any shot on the court. You know, and a lot of people know that from here too. Because since I've been back, you know, that's all I do is play in leagues. The last year or so, I haven't been playing. Because of just I got a little more serious about, you know, my son's like training and stuff like that in high school, but. I'm pretty active though, like, in all the leagues and all that. So a lot of people know that about me here too. So but I would say anything just inspiring, bro, that you can do whatever you want. You can compete at the level. You know, honestly, if you work for it, you can actually. I mean, they hear that all the time, but I don't think they really understand it, man. You really put that time in the game. It's there. It's there for you. You know what I mean? I just didn't make excuses.
That's
you know what I mean. I didn't make excuses. So. If I was saying anything to anybody, man, if you want to play, just keep playing. Like, your journey gonna be what it is, man, and make the best of your situation. That's what I did. I mean, at first, I tried to leave multiple times, but end of the day, still basketball.
I hear you, man. I think that's the mic drop moment right there, man. We're gonna transition to the second part of the interview, man, because I want to get his coaching story and just how he got into that, and then just some other things as a man. But I can't leave this man on a miss, man. So the rock is his, man. Hey. How many you can get in a row, bro?
Man, I don't.
What you going for?
I mean, that sounds like a challenge. I don't know. I gotta see, man. I don't know,
Let's get it in one time.
I don't know. We got enough film?
We had two.
I don't know. We got enough film for this. Sound like a challenge. Sound like I'm about to shoot for a stuffed animal or something.
Oh yeah.
He thought he asked me how many. I was like, oh man, I ain't gonna miss none.
6. Come on, man. You showing out now.
I need to go. I need to go back into the grass a little bit. That's all. Get in there. 8. Hey, film, don't stop rolling.
No, we rolling. We rolling.
Get in there. Shoot a touch.
Go ahead, get 10.
Oh.
We got 10.
We need a second defender out here.
11. 12.
I know your all-time record probably 87 out here, but it's your hoop, man. You know how it is.
14.
Oh, man.
Keep it going. We got film.
We got film.
And this ain't fake neither, bro.
This ain't no lethal shooter stuff. Oh, I missed.
What you got, 14?
14.
Let me see if I can get.
Hey, man, you finna
see if I can get 10, bro.
You finna go to 60.
I'm gonna try one time, man, because we got a second part to get
to. You finna hit 60. Lethal shooter.
What do you be saying in the comments? Leave me alone.
Yeah, leave me alone.
Oh, here we go, man. So on that one, we gonna end it. I want to keep going, but we got a second part to get into. But my man, really that guy, man. I'm gonna just say that. But it's been beautiful hearing his b-ball journey, and now we about to transition to him and coaching, man. So we out. So I was able to get my guy's story upstairs in terms of the hoop career, and my man showed he got a flamethrower, man. He got 14 in a row.
I feel disappointed.
We gonna have to get back out there. We only got so much time tonight. We're gonna get back out there, man. But now I want to tap in just into his coaching career, how he made that transition, bro. So you said that you finished playing and then you was training and coaching. So just walk us through that process, dog.
Yeah. So in my in between time, just working, as I'm letting my knee heal and things like that. I took a high school job, at Dubuque Senior High School, which is on the same road as Clark University in Iowa, and I was an assistant JV coach. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, that's why I tell a lot of coaches or guys under me is like, you want to have done everything, before you even get an opportunity. So that was my first opportunity that I kind of got. Kind of learn about the game, and all I knew at that time is how to inspire kids, and then understanding the X and the O's and how I deciphered it. So honestly, I just watched. I watched, listened, was a good assistant. I felt like I just did whatever he asked me to do, but also just when he asked me to speak or needed me to speak, I was always being prepared. You know what I mean? I knew if he couldn't make it that day, I was always gonna be prepared just in case. You know what I mean? Now he made it every time, but what the thing was, I was prepared if so. You know what I mean? Sure. So at that time, that's when I was like, I enjoy it because I still got that feeling because I could resonate with them like how I was the player. You know what I mean? So I started out there and then took a little bit of time off from it because when I moved in my son. And then I picked up just training again, when I was in Rhode Island. Just did some small coaching, nothing too serious. I was working more corporate jobs and stuff like that. So when I lived there for 6 years, but I knew in 2017 when I moved back home to Milwaukee that was what I was going to do. I knew I wanted to start. I always wanted to have my own program. But I didn't understand how it was going to happen or what it took to get it. You know what I mean? So when I came back in 2017 to start playing, rubbing shoulders with the people, then I joined the ABC Young Lions. Shout
out to Daryl, man.
Porter is a good guy. His son actually played for me at Heritage. And then Terry Bennett, I was with them for a year. And that year I was with them, I was just learning the land. You know what I'm saying? Learning the land of the law. just kind of seeing what to do, what not to do. You know what I mean? And they gave me a lot of freedom too, like as far as like tournaments, you know, how to talk to the parents, all that. So, you know, some programs you don't have as much, but they gave me a lot of leeway and to kind of do my own stuff.
What group did you start out with when you was with the Lions, bro?
5th grade.
Okay.
5th grade.
Yeah.
Funny story because that group ended up graduating from Heritage, you know, last year, 2024.
Okay.
So that group was like just a makeup group. You know, they wasn't like recruited players or nothing like that. It was just open, you know, kids coming in there. They all wasn't super talented and all that stuff, but they just wanted to play basketball.
Yeah.
And so, and their parents was all in on what I was, you know, trying to do, which was kind of trying to turn them into basketball players. You know what I mean? Not, you know, not just like kids just having fun or whatever. I was teaching them how to, like, you know, how not to fake injuries and how your mind, you know how kids gonna be, oh, my ankle, let me come out, or I'm sick today or whatever. So I was training them up in the mindset like a college kid. You know what I mean? And then I put read and react into them as little kids. You know what I mean? Because mind you, my experiences as a coach really came from my experiences from college. So all I really knew was how to teach it, break it down like slower. But still the same concept from like college. You know what I mean? So that was a benefit that they got. So yeah, that group, actually, I was there for a year. And then I told the group, I didn't tell them, you know, they got to come. I just said, I'm going to start my own AU program. And I'm you know what I mean? You do not have to go. I was not trying to take them from ABC or nothing like that. But I let them know. And they was like, man, we was doing great here, man. Like, you need to be here. But I was telling them it wasn't nothing to do with them. This is just kind of, and I didn't know that beforehand, but it's just kind of the journey I was on. And it might fail, it might not. But I'm like, I'm going to just start my own program now. That whole team came with me. All the parents came with me.
That's what's up.
And you know, I was the birth of Pride Rock. That was my program. And I mean, you know, it was like the whole. I was babysitting Young Lions, and it was like the whole Lion thing. Me moving from Rockford, calling the basketball a rock, and you know
dope.
what I mean. And the Lion King and the Lion. So if you look at, so some people are like, where the name come from? It's like, you know, it's like a double entendre almost, like between like basketball, playing with pride. You know what I mean? The ball, you know, it's just like, you know, so it all makes sense. But and people mostly be like, you know, they get that part from Lion King, like that was the name of where they was at. You know what I mean? But I was like, man, we got a group, we got a flock of lions. You know what I mean? So I started the program. That was in 2018 when I left there, and in 2019 I started Pride Rock. So
let me ask you, bro, how hard was it for you just to like, cause you know what I'm saying, you got to fundraise, raise money for jerseys, and all that process. How did you get through that?
That was hard because me being a city kid, you know, and my mom working all the time, not really even seeing me play in live action until I was like an adult. You know what I'm saying? She heard I could play, but she never really seen me play. You know, she was like, man, they making a big deal out of you. And one time, and I'm like, Ma, I told you all this time, my whole life I've been playing ball. Like, she just didn't really get it. But my point to say, because of that, I had a soft side for the city kids, inner city kids, because I felt like, you know what I mean? I didn't understand the pay part. I was just trying to give them something. And I never started the program for finances or anything like that. I didn't even understand that part. I was just trying to cover all the stuff. I would often call, you know, ABC's administrator. She was a mom, and I would just ask her questions like, okay, how do I know this, or what's a good tournament, or whatever, and then I learned how to budget and do all that stuff. So really, I kept the fees down. I don't remember what they were, but they were pretty inexpensive. I was just trying to cover everything. I tried to get some fundraising, but believe it or not, man, it's not that many people who truly doing stuff for kids. There's people out here, but a lot of times because there's so many other people doing it, they kind of back away from it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we just all these parents was all in though. So these parents was okay with paying, and they was okay with traveling. And so I really didn't have that problem.
Where was y'all practicing at the time?
Man, we bumped around a lot, right? So, first we was at Hope. You know, there was a Hope campus out there near the Meadows and stuff, around their area. So we was out there first because a buddy of mine worked there. So I had to plug in with the principal, and we rented that space for a while. Then, we would do some stuff outside. We bumped everywhere. I mean, West Dallas, Tulsa.
Yeah.
Really wherever would rent to us at first. You know what I mean? One of the players' church. You know what I mean? On the south side. Really just kind of bumped around. And then, I used to train out at Center Court.
Oh yeah, okay.
I used to train out there. So I that's how I started working on my material.
Yeah.
I did that for for a year or two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just working on my material, you know what I mean, with some beginners. And my wife would be like, "Why are you doing all that? You driving all the way over there and you're not making no money from that?" I'm like, I'm just working on my stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Seeing what, seeing what I know it worked for me, but how it's gonna work for somebody who ain't got the mind for it, and how can I take them from here to here? Yeah. So once I developed that, then it was lights out. You know what I mean? Because I formulated that plan. So yeah, I mean, I took it from there. I had 2 teams the first year.
Okay.
And then it just kind of multiplied.
Yeah.
It just kept multiplying. Like, you know what I mean? Word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I could be better on social media. That's one of my weaknesses, I would say, because I'm not gonna say private person, but I'm kind of in.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I'm
like that too.
Yeah,
bro.
I'm not
like,
a big self promoter, but
yeah.
like I should be. I'm not never gonna be like. I'll never be like. If you ask me and we just talking competitively, I'll be like, yeah, I'm the best. This, and that. But really though, I don't. It's all. I understand this objective, so I don't really be saying none of that because I don't care about who's the best trainer. I don't care what people think is the best coach. I know what I am to my kids. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do the best I can be. So I don't need to be going back and forth making it about the adults when it's really about the kids. So, and I know that sounds cliche, but it's true, and that's how I move. So I think I could be so much better, at that. But because of that, you know what I mean? Word of mouth spread without me having to say whatever, and then people just start, man, Bynum got a good program. He really care about the kids. He really training. And once word got out and my team started, making some noise, then my tryout, demand started to get heavy.
Did you hire another or bring on more coaches with the teams? Or?
Yeah, so I started out with just me and 2 of my guys. Like it was my guy Chauncey Waitman. He be playing a lot of leagues and stuff around. And he was just like an aspiring hooper, you know what I mean? Who had a story about him. He just loved pouring back in the kids. So he was just kind of always just in their ear. And then I had another one. I had Devon Ross. He was another hooper. He was younger, but he is like-minded like me. So really them dudes just did my handling.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So whatever else I needed. And then I took a couple years. I did everything on my own as far as behind the scenes. And then after year 3, I ended up getting a parent coordinator.
Okay.
Because
that's what's up. Yeah,
and then it got better. You know what I mean? Because she added value to, all the things I couldn't do. But I had learned those 3 years prior, how to do everything. So now I had to delegate a little bit more. So it just kind of blew up out. It kind of more teams. Right now I currently got 10 teams. It don't seem. I mean, it's a lot, but it don't seem like a lot to some of the mega programs. But some of the bigger programs, they got additional funding. Yeah. And they got multiple people. Yeah. You know what I mean? They might have, but it's none of that. It's literally it's really me. Yeah. That's it, honestly.
Yeah. Before we transition to Heritage, bro, what's the ultimate vision for Pride Rock, bro? What's your ultimate goal for the program, bro?
Honestly, some days I feel like I want to be the best independent program in the area around, without a shoe circuit and all that stuff. Yeah. Because there has to be a medium, right? It has to be somewhere where kids gonna play that they're just as good. It's just like me being at a small school like Clark University playing and me matching up against a D1 guard. We both nice. One of us might be getting 20. You might be averaging 9. You gonna say you averaging 9 because you playing at a bigger school and you playing against better competition. I'll say even if you was in my situation, you couldn't get 20 a night because you probably ain't built like that. Yeah. Or I was built like that. I'd be in high school. Well, we'll see, right?
I get you.
A lot of that is is there has to be. I mean that by saying a lot of it is kind of built upon where you coming from, the kids are more underdogs. You know what I mean? And they have to have somewhere to go too.
Yeah.
There's no big dogs in the shoe circuit if there's no little dogs to stomp on.
Right.
And I ain't saying we little dogs. We just kind of like above the middle. So we right under the shoe circuit. Like you know what I mean? So out of 5, we probably a 3. I think 3 to 4. Like I'm throwing my top teams. You know what I mean? Like we not gonna beat like Hero's best team. We'll beat their second team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're not gonna beat their top team because they, you know what I mean. That's the best of the best. We rooting for them. You know what I mean? So when they go nationally, they do their thing like Power 5. You know all the programs. You know what I mean? Like we root for them. They top teams. You know what I mean? But when it's time to get on the floor, we gonna play. But my biggest vision is just honestly, eventually, it's not really to be a shoe circuit and like that, but just have the best program when it comes to treating kids, training kids, getting them off to college, and just doing right by them.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. Salute to you, and I think you're gonna get there, man. And I think you doing that now. So, just in terms of Heritage Christian, man, how did you find them? What was the situation for you to get on there, man?
Well, yeah, I was actually, I was doing the training stuff. Okay. I was doing the club stuff, but then it started getting high demand for coaching.
Yeah.
And then so I knew a coach who knew me from AAU, and he named Kev Smith. He was over at Shorewood, and he was like, "Yo, man, I need you to come be my head varsity assistant." You know what I mean? I'm like, "All right, sign me up. Let me go do the interview." So I go to the interview, kill the interview, and I take the job.
I didn't know you was that short,
so it never happened though. So it's funny. So I go in there. I'd say it's been a couple weeks now. Ben Haley, who was at Mesmer, he comes in as the freshman coach.
Yeah.
I'm the varsity coach.
Yeah.
And then Kev Smith's the varsity coach. And with the assumption that over time I'll probably be the head coach because Kev was kind of doing multiple things, even though it was his first year. He ended up leaving the next year, so the job would have been mine. But so as I take the job, it's been a few weeks. I had all been called all summer about Heritage because I had been training kids.
Okay. And they head coach was open? The head coach spot was open?
I didn't think it was. The girls was. So I was training girls and boys. And I had parents that was part of that community that kept sending recommendations to the school and the AD saying, I got the perfect coach, for you. And I was just kind of like, I never really heard of them.
Yeah.
This is small. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to Shorewood. They got nice facilities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm thinking about my boys going to Shorewood, how I can get them in, all that. But they was kind of persistent, and then the AD finally reached out, and I prayed about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, they just so persistent. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go in. You know what I mean? Because when the mom sent me like this heartfelt letter, like, I've seen you there, and she had this dream. So I'm like, okay. So I go into the interview, and he's like, I'm going in thinking it's a girl's position. You know what I mean? Because the guy position I thought was Phil, or whatever. And then he halfway through the interview he said, I got you here for the girl position, but I really brought you here for the boys.
Yeah.
I just wanted to meet you and see what you were like, this and that. So now he threw me for a loop.
I'm like, I guess that's cool, but you could have told me.
You could have told me, right? Yeah. So, but I'm like, okay, that's a whole. Because now I start thinking about my boys, like my Pride Rock boys. They in like 7th, 8th grade.
Okay.
You know
so
what I mean?
They almost
there. Yeah. So I'm like, in my mom, like, man, think about that. So I said I'll think about it. And mind you, I'm not sure would. So I meet with the principal, and at the time, he's not the principal now, but real God-fearing man, though, like older guy. I come in, he just wooed me from the moment I walked in. He sold me on just being genuine and how the campus was gonna be and about love and all those things. And I'm a Christian. I love people, and we just connected. He prayed for me. And when I left, I felt this calm, and I knew
this was it.
This is where God wanted me to be.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I had to let Shorewood know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, even though you don't want to renege on something like that, it ain't necessarily great for whatever, but it was just what had to happen. And then I took over the job. Now, mind you, I took over the job 12 consecutive losing seasons. They had, I don't know, it was so many head coaches in so many years.
Yeah.
We didn't have a home gym. They were using St. Luke and Brookfield, and it wasn't legal either, like far as to go in the playoffs. Yeah, it was the program was like, why would you go there? Like nobody heard of it.
Right.
So, but that underdog mentality in my mind was like, bro, I got the formula. Like, let me work. So I'm like, I'm gonna show you, what I can do. So that's really what I did. The first year, struggled. Won like 5 games, but we won the playoff game.
Okay,
we were the only team in our like grouping that was the underdog and won. We were like 11 seed. We beat a 6 seed. Now, mind you, that's
something to build on.
Man, it was huge because I just got the team in like, I don't know, August. Like, you know what I mean? I did no summer league, no nothing. I just met a bunch of the kids. All of them wasn't basketball players. And so I'm like, but by the end of the year, them dudes was believing. They was competing. And so the next year, all my kids came in.
Okay.
I got in 6 of my boys. And they all freshmen.
Yeah.
And they all, 4 of them or so all went to varsity right away. Started 3 or 4 of them right off the rip. And we went 500.
Okay.
We went 500.
Something to build on.
Yeah, for sure. No, but you could just tell the energy was different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These boys have been with me. And again, the school, it wasn't just because of basketball, but the school, it was a good school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it saved a lot of these kids. I mean, a lot of these kids was from different parts, broken homes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was doing, more than just basketball, bro. I was like saving lives, bro. Like, because honestly, that's what kind of happened for me when I moved away. So moving my pops and going to that Christian school I went to, that probably saved me because I lost at least 4 people in my inner circle when I moved. So I went there, and then the next year we went 14-11.
Okay.
That was their sophomore year.
Okay,
Their sophomore year, and we just kept working. Around that COVID time, they played with the mask on because the private school played with the mask. So we started training outside, even when everybody was locked up. Working on taking it to the basket, running heels, and then that next year, we went 25-2. We took off the next year. Everybody hit that weight room.
What's that one kid? Y'all had one kid I really like. I think Desmond.
Yeah.
He was in that crop, right? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I liked his game.
Yeah, Desmond. What's crazy is that Desmond was like the last that we added to go to the school. You know what I mean? Not because of his talent. He was just a young kid who had a lot to figure out, and I wasn't sure. And he struggled his freshman year too. He struggled his freshman year, but he just kept putting the work in. And then they just kind of grew. They all just grew together. You know what I mean? But Desmond is playing at Clark.
Okay.
He actually playing at Clark, man. The gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, that's what's up.
You know what I mean? He grew to about 6'4".
Okay.
And he can play 3 positions, man. So I'm happy that But coolest thing about that story, not it ended bad that year. We probably should have won state that year.
Okay.
We lost in overtime.
What division was y'all in?
Well, we always are Division 4.
Okay.
But that year, because they used the COVID year numbers, they dropped us into Division 5.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that even benefited us even more when it came to playoffs. But I mean, every team can hoop.
Yeah.
Once you get down to down to that way. But that year we slipped down. We went back to D4 the next year, but that year we slipped to D5 because it was like a year behind, and it was we went under the threshold. But that team was special, a real special team. We started out like 13-0, something like that. We were 20-1, number 1 ranked team, number 2 ranked team, and then we lost in overtime when our players got a concussion, and we should have been there. It didn't happen for us, but that group, the next year we went 19-7.
Okay.
That was their senior year. The year after, we lost 2 guys. We just talked about Desmond. He went off and played in college, but there was multiple really good players. Kids. The coolest thing about their time there.
Yeah.
3 players, all at one time on the same team, same graduation year, all went over 1,000 points.
Oh, that's what's up.
And one of them was over 1,500.
That's what's up.
So I don't know of any team. And I would challenge that. I would love for somebody to see that. I'm talking about the same graduation year. I ain't talking about.
I ain't never heard of that before.
You get what I'm saying? I ain't talking about you got it, he graduated, and you got it, and
then
y'all all play together. I'm talking about on the same team, same level. Be over 1,000 points. It just shows like we distribute. We play together.
All varsity 4 years.
No. Well, they all play varsity 4 years.
Okay.
But all of them didn't start either.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So like. like Dez and Mike didn't start.
Okay.
They didn't start. Alex, who scored 15, he did, but he wasn't the leading scorer like his last year.
Okay.
Like the other guys, Mike and Dez, like kind of went up. So I mean that was the coolest part about the whole thing, because I'm like, bro, who else got 3 guys over 1,000 points at one time? Because normally it'd be one guy, maybe 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because but to have 3 guys, that was like the coldest coach flex.
Yeah. There you go, man. There you go.
So yeah, I mean, Heritage is dope though, man. Great. End up growing it. We end up getting a new gym.
Yeah, that's what's
amongst that time, and then the atmosphere, because of the basketball program not having a football program, ended up being great. Like we end up creating a really good environment there. My style of basketball and coaching and stuff is. It's pretty, it's pretty exciting. You know what I mean? It's like it's back and forth. Kids play free on offense. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, it was a good time and good environment while time lasted. And then this year, we had lost 8 seniors. So, you know what I mean? We had to pick up the pieces. And then my point guard was a freshman. He's really talented. He started the season out for the first 7 games or so, broke his toe. In the preseason. Then he came back for about 7, 8 games. Then he broke his wrist. So we ended up being 11-14. I want to say.
Okay. So kind of a rebuild.
Yeah, kind of rebuild. But we did win the playoff game. We did avenge a couple of losses. There were some good wins in there too. But I'm not mad at that based upon my expectations. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But that's part of coaching. High school's gonna have its ebb and flow sometimes.
Yeah. So, man, you had that success at Heritage, man, just building it up and getting it from the bottom all the way to the top, man. So then you make the decision, man, a coaching vacancy happens at Greendale Martin Luther, and you're able to get that job, man. So just walk us through that decision.
I mean, I guess I want to focus more on not anything on why I left, I guess, with Heritage, because I love that place.
Yeah.
My kids go there. I work there too. I love the community, the kids. They show me nothing but love. So I won't really speak on them, because I don't want them to not believe that.
For sure.
You know what I mean? That I didn't appreciate the time there or anything like that. But Martin Luther just presents a different challenge at this stage in my coaching career, and what I want to do and what I see, and a little bigger school, and their goals to win and compete kind of matches where I'm at right now. And man, I'm kind of excited for a new beginning. Like I said, it's kind of bittersweet in the same sense, but I mean, I'm kind of excited for just a new chapter. Just kind of see can I do it again? You know what I mean?
And in terms of just style of play and your coaching system, I'm pretty sure you're going to implement the same program over there. Just run the same stuff, just be the same guy over there.
Yeah, I mean, I will, but I'm gonna be the same way, but it's gonna be a little different, because it's gonna be a different crop of kids.
True. I'm glad you said that.
With a different type of, and that don't mean that my kids didn't have ability. The kids we had were skilled kids. I had skilled kids, and I developed them. My staff, we developed them into being skilled kids. While now I'll have kids with more natural ability and talent. And now the challenge is going to be getting them to play together and building that. And keeping those fundamentals solid. But see, from a talent standpoint, I'm gonna be working with something a little different.
Yeah, for sure.
And at least that's the goal, and that's my expectation. So that's the whole point. So it's gonna be the same, but not the same, because we got up and down before, but I don't think they're gonna see teams get up and down like we're gonna do it Martin Luther now.
Did you meet the team yet? And you was able to meet some of the guys?
I met some of the guys. I know some of them just from AAU. You know what I mean? Parents talk, word got out. Nothing but love though, because again, I got a pretty good reputation with parents and players and stuff like that, just from seeing my teams and all that. So word got out, it was nothing but love, and I know a lot of the kids. There's some of the kids I don't know too. There's a bunch of kids I don't know, so I would get the chance to get out there with them this summer, especially with the new WIA rule that allows you to coach and contact during June and July. So in the past that really wasn't
you
a thing.
Couldn't do that.
You couldn't do that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that and just kind of getting in there because knowing everybody at your last school and then coming in like the substitute teacher at first. You know what I mean? Ain't the easiest thing to do at the beginning, but I don't know. Like I said, it's all a challenge, bro. I'm kind of excited to get in there, man.
Well, again, bro, best wishes for that, man, and salute to my coach, Paul Wallershine, who just retired from there in terms of the coaching position. He coached at Dominican. That's where I played for him at. Then went over to Martin Luther and got himself a ship over there, man, kept that program or built that program to a certain level. And then to see you, you know what I'm saying, taking it, what you going to do with it, man, that's dope. And, man, shout out to Vonnie, shout out to Josh, man. They had nothing but good things to say about you. So I feel like I knew you already.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, shout out to them guys. Yeah. And then, man, I just wanted to just touch on fatherhood. And you can say you brought up your faith, too. So just in terms of making an impact, dedicating yourself to that, man, how do you go about that while trying to balance basketball?
Yeah, I mean, that's always the tricky thing in the question, you know what I mean? Because you father so many,
right?
And you don't even know it. It's a ministry in itself.
Yeah, that's facts.
Yeah, you know what I mean, and everybody don't see that. But you can't forget about your own family either. And so, I got 3 girls and a boy. And they keep me, and I got a little one. Yeah. And she keep me pretty active. So it's just balancing that time, man. There are weekends, especially AAU season, where you got to miss Sundays for church and stuff like that, and you wish you was there. I don't miss too much though. You know what I mean? After I'm done doing what I'm doing, I come home. I don't really do much social. You know what I mean? Too much because I'm so locked in with that. And then any other extra time, I might spend it with family, my intermediate family, or my my brothers and their kids and stuff like that. So I mean, you gotta have that balance. I think once you get too much on one side, then you gotta kind of tilt it back. You know what I mean? That's why you see some coaches stepping away and things like that. I haven't gotten to that point yet, but I would not coach or something if it meant that I, you know what I'm saying, was sacrificing my children or time with my family and my wife. If there was something missing there, then I would just take a step away. But I mean, I think my wife understands it's a ministry, it's a passion of mine, it's something I love to do, and I'm good at it. You know what I mean? I was born to teach, I was born to coach. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just a passion of mine, but and that just comes to me naturally, bro. You know what I mean? So no matter whatever I'm doing, I'm gonna be probably in some type of leadership position and teaching it. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is.
That's dope, man. Walking in your gift, man. God blesses us with certain talents and just gifts, and for you to be able to just understand yours and just want to give back, that's dope, bro. How long you and your wife been together for?
So we've been together for 18 years. Ooh. I know, bro. It's been a long time, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we've been together 18 years. We're about to be married for 15 years.
Oh, that's what's up, man.
Coming up July 31st. So,
that's
man,
what's up,
it's been a while. So we've been together for a long time, and then we got 4 children. I got one son, and he's the oldest, and he's a junior too. So he has a passion for basketball. I mean, we started a little later, probably like 7th grade, just because I was so focused on his behavior and also his academics.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I didn't want to just force him to play basketball, but he kind of go to it on his own. I do think he's gonna have a future somewhere in the avenue of basketball because he likes to follow it and do all these other things. So he might end up being a coach or after he's done playing and stuff like that too. Cause he just loves like the little nuances in the game, which is kind of cool. But man, family is a big thing. You know what I'm saying? Like being married that long, you really understand like you get a lot of things. You know what I mean? The highs, the lows, the different like ebbs and flows in life, and then also like being like a godly family. You know what I mean? My wife, she's a very spiritual, woman, and she prays a lot. We pray a lot as a family. So
that's what's up.
Being that heritage, and then like even another school like Martin Luther, who also is faith-based education, was that was also a plus too versus taking a different type of job too. Yeah. That was kind of a little bit of a deciding factor too. You know what I mean with it. But yeah, I mean, that was a big thing with it just being a heritage. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just the environment. You know what I mean? So it's cool.
That's dope, man. And I asked this question to everybody on the show, man. So if Coach Bynum, Father Bynum, man, OG Bynum had to speak to young Demonte, Custard Demonte, when he was running in them circles, man, and losing friends, man, and just the young you, what advice would you give your younger self, bro?
Man, I would literally just say, you know, it's hard to even just give myself that advice for the simple fact that I literally learned along the way.
Yeah.
You know, I had no clue.
Yeah.
I had no clue of the mistakes I made and the things I was doing and what was to come, and you know, the plans that God had for me. Because if I would have stayed, you know, then I could have ended up in those doing them same things, and I was already headed in that direction. But I think God had other plans for me. I think that a lot of the mistakes I made along the way, it just came from just, you know what I mean, just growing up and not focusing, not necessarily on like a goal or basketball or anything like that, but just as a young kid, not understanding that, and then not understanding how important it is, like every little small detail. And once I got to college, I became a better student.
Yeah, that's what's up.
I became a better teammate, role model. So, but by the time I got there, I'm like, this is what my mom was telling me that. This is what my coach meant by that. And so I try to help the kids to understand it before I did, even though it sounds like noise to them. But it's like, man, if I would have caught that at 13, 14, 15, it'd been totally different. But you know, everybody want to stump their toe first, and then you know what I mean, afterwards say, oh, they didn't see it right there. But I try to keep telling these kids and try to give them that information, like, you know what I mean, like helping them with school, helping them understand how important it is, and how that like little thing might derail them. You know what I mean? Wrong place, wrong time. It always be those ones. But I just, you know, I'm thankful that my parents, my mom always kept, you know, my mom's a pastor, always kept, you know, God in my life. So even when I did have my mishaps in there, it always came back around. You know what I mean? So we just focused on that with our kids. You know what I mean? That they gonna come back. Even you know, they got their own decisions. Everybody got their own life, but you put that in their heart and they learn, they'll be back. So it's a beautiful thing, man. I would mostly tell myself, like, hey, man, like, just watch out. You know what I'm saying? Just watch out, man. Just watch out for the things that come. But honestly, I kind of lived it. Like, I lived it, man, and I'm actually, I have no regrets, bro.
That's what's up, man. So, my brother, it has been dope getting your story all the way from hoop down to just coaching and just fatherhood and all the stuff you got going on, bro. So before we get out of here, if you got anything to shout out, anybody, anything you want to push, promote, man, give some light on, man, the floor is yours, my guy.
For sure. I just want to shout out first all of my, you know, former players. You know, I mean, they make a lot of things possible. All the parents. Thanks for all the support. Colleagues. Thanks for all the support. My family, of course, super supportive. From cousins and moms and everybody, man. I just want to shout them out first, and then just, you know, shout out the basketball community in Milwaukee. You know, it's just show nothing but love. You know, those who are genuinely happy for you always come out and show love, and you know, I just try to do right by people, man. You know what I mean, and keep building a relationship. So just know I'm supporting y'all, and you know, and if I can help, I'll be there. And just, you know, I ask that you do the same. You know, but yeah, that's pretty much it, man. And also shout out Pride Rock basketball. We just continue to grow, and you know, shout out to Martin Luther, man, for giving me this opportunity to be their next head coach, and seeing my vision, man, of what I think how basketball should be played and how raising young men is supposed to happen. So it's gonna be good to, you know, bring a different energy, you know, to Martin Luther.
That's dope, brother. Like I said, I'm a Dominican alumni, but I will be pulling up, man, to check y'all out, man. I still love to watch the game, man, and just seeing you and how you move. I'm excited to see what you do for them guys, man. So before we get up out of here, man, I gotta have you sign the ball, man, and put some wisdom on the board. You ain't gotta do it now. We're gonna cut off. But But yeah, man, this man Demonte Bynum, this Mark Pace, man, I enjoyed this one, man. This is the first time, like I said, doing it outside, getting to shoot around, get some shots up with my guy, man. Please believe we gonna get him back in the gym, man. Yeah. He ain't gonna just. I gotta follow that 14 up with at least 10. So yeah, man. But it's been a pleasure, man. Mark Pace, Demonte Bynum, man. That's Cut Talk.